Right, hello there, and welcome to another ship build. Today we're going to be checking out my build on the Frontier Mark II. So here it is here. Let me just really quickly toggle TCL so I can... Yeah, there we go, so I can go back. So the whole kind of premise behind this Frontier Mark II is that early on into the I suppose the Starborn slash Artifact events that happened with the game, the guys at Constellation realized that they needed a far more capable vessel for dealing with both the threat of Starborn and also kind of like just dealing with kind of the new frontiers of that's available. So this uses a lot of modded pieces. Obviously, I'll show you the Lord Order in a moment. But yeah, I wanted to basically make something that was a little bit more kind of akin to, like, think of, in my opinion, like something similar in look to like the Normandy for Mass Effect. You know, something that's a little bit more sleek, a little bit more sexy. It's something that, you know, looks like it means business and also is quite fast. Because I imagine that, like, you know, obviously we see the Frontier and we have like instances where, you know, in the base version of the game, yeah, the Frontier gets attacked and yeah, it's just an old outdated vessel. And I feel like that's not, you know, given Constellation's newfound, you know, like the fact that they're actually worth something now and they realize that they're not chasing nothing. I feel like it makes sense, you know. Walter reached into his pockets and he made a ship. Now it's using a lot of Nova Galactic pieces because I feel like it needs to stay true to that original kind of Nova Galactic design that the Frontier had, incorporating some new thing. It is based very loosely on a kind of a space plane. Obviously, when it comes to Starfield and stuff, we don't have atmospheric flight in game, but like in the lore, you know, we do to an extent. So yeah, so this thing is, let's jump into it. I'm gonna really quickly show you my load order and then we'll be back. All right, so this is the load order for my usual shipbuilding. Now, as always, I don't necessarily use every single piece, but when it comes to whenever I'm building ships, generally we'll pull from these various mods. There is 2 paid I use, and then a load of free ones. So we'll start off at the top here. We've got shipbuilder categories by Rook616. This mod doesn't do anything on its own, but it basically puts mods into little categories. We've also got better ship part flips by Rooks. This is, again, this requires ship categories. It's another Rooks mod. Basically makes it so parts can flip better angles. So this is the one of the 2 paid mods I use. This is Bad Tech Shuttlecraft Design by WK Baldwin. So this adds a load of, it's a paid mod, I think it's 200 credits. It adds a load of parts, but the main reason I'm using this is because this adds a landing bay and a landing gear that allows ships to basically float in the sky, which makes building kind of large ships with wings a lot easier. So yeah, you don't need this a lot of the time, depending on the depending on it, but I would recommend getting it. So you got the Institute of Naval Technology Glasses Cockpits by Flight Controller. This adds a load of structural pieces that have been redesigned as cockpits, so that if you're trying to make a ship with like a cockpit that's not super obvious, really, really cool mod. Better ship part flips by Rooks. This is another one that just makes the shipping flipping better. One of a kind ships. This is by JMPZ11. Basically, it adds a load of dockers to the game and airlocks that just make it kind of easier if you're trying to kind of make little entry or exit points. Mattel's Cockpit and Bridge series, Mattel's Cockpit, sorry, and Bridges crew series by VM Roach. So this one, the reason I'm using this, obviously, is some really, really cool cockpits, interiors, kind of to make them bigger and stuff. The main reason I'm using this is because it makes it so that you can have rear entry, that's what she said, and the 3 cockpits that usually have at the top, so the Hope Tech cockpit and the 2 Stroud cockpits, you know, the ones that usually sit on top. They kind of look quite cool. These basically make it, this mod makes it so that you can place them, basically that you can place them on top. They're with Mattel's mods. Obviously, some of them can have issues. This one doesn't seem to have an issue, but the other one does, which we'll talk to in a minute. So we've got multiple cockpits and multiple landing bays by Pilb. This basically allows you to have more than one cockpit and more than one landing bay, which is really, really cool if you're trying to make like a ship with multiple, you know, of them. Deck landing bays by Dexy. This basically allows you to make there's versions of the various landing bays where you can kind of make a streamlined landing bay. So whereas like an example, let's say you use the Deimos landing bay and you have to kind of, it has to be underneath. This allows you to connect it from the back instead of the top. So that way you can kind of have really streamlined, and you could make a ship that's one tall. Very, very cool. ZSW floating modules. This basically allows you to kind of have floating objects if you need, or if you need to extend pieces. Quite cool. I don't use it as much as I used to, but it's still handy to have if you need to kind of try to get that part to fit exactly where you need it. Mattel's Hab Cockpit accessories. Now, this mod is somewhat problematic on Xbox. So some of the pieces don't really work. There's like a new cockpit and stuff. It doesn't currently work very well. I don't tend to use it really at all. I did use the cockpit initially, but when I found out that it was a bit problematic, I haven't used it since. But this is just something that, yeah, hopefully the mod author can see it and fix it, because it does add a really cool cockpit. Again, I'm just kind of covering the mods I have used in the past. Just this is my kind of generic load order. Next, we have Mattel's Hab Cockpit and Accessory Shipbuilder category patch. This is entirely optional, but it just basically makes it so that the shipbuilder category mod, which we've seen at the top, it puts them in order. Cross Heavy Industries Model 3 ship modules. This basically adds a load of modules that can be rotated. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Next, we have Cross Heavy Industries Ship System module. This is extremely useful for if you're basically trying to make ships with structural engines. It basically adds little Tayo equipment plates that can basically be flipped or cycled between to have A, B, and C class shields, reactors, grav drives, and engines. Very, very, very cool. Next, we have Decorative Engines Enhanced by Sadir. That basically adds decorative engines that can be flipped to make your ship look cooler. They also don't count. They're structural pieces, so they don't count towards like actual, yeah, they don't count towards actual your engine count. Ship module snaps and flips expansion by SMSEX. I really like this mod by Hobart. The main reason I like this mod is because it adds these Gillibrand pieces that allow you to basically merge pieces closer together or further away, which is really, really, really nice. Almost every build I make nowadays will make use of them. Then we've got in Trinity Aeroworks by Deleted. This basically adds a load of M-class pieces that have been scaled down to fit more, in with the game. Really, really cool. We've got Shipbuilder Configurator by Grisbane 404. This basically allows you to tweak various things from the merge tolerance to also making the ship sizes and stuff. Now, if you're on Xbox, you will also want to download this, the Xbox version of this. But there is also presets available from Grisbrain that basically, because on Xbox you can actually modify the INI file. Meaning, on this, if I'm playing on PC, I can go into the menu and I can set how many pieces I want to use. You can't do that on Xbox, so you have to download a preset. I would recommend downloading the Dreadnought preset. It allows you to build ships that are 200 meters long, which I would never recommend that. But it also allows you to build ships that, I think 1,600 parts. But yeah, it's just very, very cool. And then finally, we have ACS Deimos by Wizzacurb. This is a paid mod. I've been loving it, having a lot of fun with it. It's very, very, very cool. So yeah, that is my load order. And yeah, obviously, I've seen a few people say that they downloaded my load order and they had a few issues. I will say I've been using this load order for quite a while on both Xbox and PC. I do not use any other if you're using this with some of the other heavier ship mods, ship part mods, you may have some problems, but generally speaking, I haven't really had any problems, and I haven't, to be honest, I haven't really structured it in a specific way. So yeah, obviously your mileage may vary, but I can confirm that this load order, the way it is now, works on Xbox and works on PC. So yeah, now let's jump into building the ship, shall we? All right. So as always, before we jump into the merging or anything else, I'm going to go to the settings, and we're going to go to crew settings. We're going to go to gameplay options. And we're going to scroll all the way down and make sure your build overlap tolerance is set to huge. Huge, need to be huge. All right, we're gonna go take a look at the interior first. Like I was saying, this uses a lot of this is an older build. uses some of the SMSEX pieces with those kind of curved pieces. You could definitely re-replicate this with some of the cross pieces, but I just wanted to, yeah. A lot of the builds you're going to be seeing over the next couple of weeks are just kind of builds I've made on stream. I never got really around to doing videos on them. Let's hop inside the Frontier Mark II. All right, so we've got our standard kind of 1x1 Frontier cockpit. You know, very nice. We got to keep that as part of the vessel. Off to the side here, we have our first edition. We have another 1x1 living quarters, because I feel like most of the crew that actually are companions should be accompanying you on your journeys. And then over here we have, this is just I think this is supposed to be a science lab. I don't know if it's a science lab or it's a 1x1. We'll see in a minute anyway. Also, this is a Nova. That's Stroud. What the hell? Oh, I remember I added Stroud pieces. Yeah, I added Stroud pieces. Kind of overhaul. Stroud had to have his say in it. We've got a control station here because I feel like, you know, we need one on the this is essentially the flagship of Constellation. Got a nice big Stroud cockpit, so we can accommodate not only the Constellation crew, but also if we have to hire any freelancers, you know, any mercenaries for protection, or any kind of, like, you know, various people we might need. And then if we head downstairs to the bottom area here, we have, this is a science lab for where we're doing all our artifacty stuff. And then we have our armory here at the front, or when we need to do some docking. The docking port is at the front. Then we're going to take this for a spin and see how she performs. Yeah, so I feel like, because don't get me wrong, the Frontier is very, very cool, but I feel like everyone who, well, most people who kind of, their first ship they will kind of go into modifying is going to be the Frontier, you know. It's just, yeah. So, like, and it makes sense. I feel like the Frontier should evolve over time as you play throughout the game, and this is just kind of my culmination of what happened. So yeah, let's take off. So obviously it's got two sets of thrusters. Some of them are structural, but they still function. So those primary thrusters on the back, you'll see there, its main engines. And then those engines that are mounted on the side on those wings, they're meant to be more kind of like VTOL thrusters, like, you know, that can be used to allow it to maneuver on either high G worlds or low G worlds. Again, I know in Starfield, none of that really matters too much. Really like the profile of this. So we have more than enough power for everything on the vessel. So we've got our lasers, primary lasers. We've got ballistics, then we've got turrets. We've got two turrets mounted on the top there, on the wings. We got one mounted underneath to protect the crew when they're disembarking. So it's got a base speed of, I believe it's going to be a base speed of 1.6. Why is it? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have thrusters. Good job, Crimson, you fucking moron. Nice. It's going to have a base speed of 140 because they are C class or B class engines. Boost speed is probably going to be around 520 without any perks. Yeah, this is a bit, yeah. And it's fairly agile, not extremely agile, because, yeah, but it's fairly agile. So yeah, let's now go and check it out, shall we? We'll go do some buildy. All right, so we got the ship split into three sections. We're going to go through the various parts and how we put her together. So we'll start at the bottom here. So at the very front of the vessel, we've got a one-of-a-kind Connect Pro Docker 4. This is a modded piece from one-of-a-kind. You can easily find this in the Docker section. We're going to go here. Docker, and then you scroll all the way down, and it is this one here. And then you can flip it to make it extended. I don't have it extended. We also have this piece here. This is merged inside. So again, with merging, I'm going to show you how to do that sort of stuff. But we've just got an NG20 landing bay. Behind this, connected to the Docker, we've got our armory. And then we've got our science lab. Now, to get this merged in here, we're just going to move it in there. So it's kind of just basically floating. And we're just going to flip it back, select all, and then it snaps in. Perfect. So we've got these Nova Cowling 1LSF bottoms. These are the just vanilla parts. We basically got a front piece merged in there, or not merged, sorry, we got a front piece there. And then we've got these kind of middle pieces here. We've got two of them connected in like that. So they kind of go halfway there. And then it's the exact same on the other side. Again, these pieces, you'll see them here. Normally, there's a load of, they normally look like that. But with the flip mod, you can flip them to basically whatever angle you want. So on the back section here, the back of the Nova Galactic Science Lab, we've got two Stroud Cap A's flipped upside down. They just snap in there like so, just to kind of merge with those pieces, give us a little bit of a streamlineness to it. Behind these landing gear, we have two, or behind these Stroud Cap A's, we have two ACU-11 landing gear from Stroud Eklund. And then connected to the landing, connected to the back of the science lab, we've got a 120 LD Deimos landing bay. And then on the back, we've got two more Stroud Cap A's. So for the middle of the vessel, at the front here, we have our Stroud Negotiator cockpit. This is from the Mattel series. And then we have a Stroud Control Station 2x1, the Nova Galactic Frontier 2x1, all-in-one berth 2x1B, and living quarters 2x1. Now, so I'm going to show you very quickly. You notice how these winglets, you'll be like, Crimson, how do you get them winglets to be kind of in the middle? So we're making use of a Gillibrand piece here. So I'm going to show you real quick how we put all this together. So these pieces, the Gillibrand Special, they're in structural. You go to structural. And you scroll all the way down and past all. And there they are here, the Gillibrand. We're basically looking for this piece here. The Gillibrand 50% wide, and we're going to make it 75%, so it's going to look like, oh shoot, it's going to look like that, and then we're going to do that. And we're going to duplicate one down here, because this piece is essentially going to snap to both. So the top snap point is going to snap to the Stroud Control Station. The bottom snap point would connect to the landing bay, or the armory. You don't need to worry about it for now, though. And then once they are there, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a Stroud engine brace, and it's going to snap right there, as you see. A little bit. It's going to essentially snap to the front piece. To see that front snap point there. It's going to snap like that. Perfect. And then we're going to have we've got this is an Ammon 1 decorative engine. So if we go into our pieces and we scroll past engine, we will have decorative engines. This is just an Ammon done one. It's one of these bad boys here. You can obviously flip it. And that just snaps in like so. Looks all nice and sexy. This piece is going to snap in, but we're not going to have it like that. We're going to actually push it through. So you're just going to push it in so that it's like that, where it's not snapped to anything. You're going to flip it back, let go of it. We select all. It should snap into position like that. Bob's your auntie. And then we're going to finish off with that's a winglet. No, then we're going to finish off by adding a Mauler T. Now, so for these pieces here, we're going to basically duplicate what we did on the bottom with the three Stroud pieces. So we're going to have we're going to add a Stroud our Nova Cowling to the Stroud Control Station, and another one to there. And then the final one facing forward to there. Now, you want to be careful with these ones because we've used that Gillibrand piece. There's going to be a lot more snap points. It's going to be a little bit more finicky. Don't worry too much. And we're gonna put this piece here. Again, this is just kind of connected to the Stroud all-in-one, and then another on the other side. Now, on the back here, we've got two Nova Wing Bs. These are by SMSEX. We're going to pull these out. These are pretty simple pieces. So as you can see here, let me just show you. Really, really cool pieces that you can rotate various angles. I have them facing down. So this front piece, so obviously this snaps here like so. This front piece has a Scorch P60 megawatt pulse laser turret on the top. And then on the bottom mount there, it has a Dragon 251p UV pulse laser. And we just snap that in there like so. On the back here, we have, you'll see here, we have two Stroud SAE 5660 engines, one on each side. And then we're going to leave that like that. And we're going to slap this piece in like so. Now, realistically, you could leave this open. I opted to merge a Nova Cowling piece inside it just to kind of give it a little bit of a bit of a Nash look to it. Now, inside here we have the cube. If you've ever watched my videos before, I like to merge my fuel tank, reactor, and grav drive all together. So again, this is pretty straightforward. We're just going to slot one piece in like so. We're going to slot the next piece in, but we're going to kind of push it in enough so that it doesn't snap to anything, like so. And we're gonna move this out of the way. We're gonna select the whole thing, so I'm gonna press LB to select everything, and then tapping A or whatever your button is, it'll snap that to there. And then we've got our fuel tank. We do the same thing. I'm gonna push the fuel tank in just enough so that it's not snapping. Select all, bang, Bob's your auntie. And then finally, this piece here, this snaps right here, and this is a Nova Cowling 2LBA, and then there's our third turret on it. And then this piece, we're going to snap all this together. So this sits like so. No. Good. This will sit like that, nice and flush. And then finally, we have the top section. Let me just move this over. The top section is pretty straightforward. We're using an Intrinity Nova cap for top. That sits there. We're using an Intrinity Nova cap mid-top. That sits there. These are all the one like from the same pieces. And then we're using an Intrinity cap Nova pass-through right there. We've got Nova Cowling 2LTM and a Nova Cowling 2LTA. So the 2LTA will sit like that. And this one will go here like so. I actually believe this sits further back if I remember correctly. Yeah, okay. So this sits a little bit further back. My bad. So this piece actually it doesn't sit above that. I mean, you could if you wanted to, you could merge it like that. Again, completely up to you. With this build and stuff, you don't have to follow it exactly. That doesn't look too bad, but you will notice there's some slight kind of Z fighting with the pieces. That's probably why I opted to do that piece there. And then on each side here, we have holding the engines in place. We have these little Nova Cowling 2LTF and then a Nova engine strut on each side, and that's pretty much it. So the color scheme, pretty simple. I'll show you now. That's the primary color one, secondary color is blue, third color is that. I'm not the best when it comes to color schemes, to be completely honest with you. I kind of tend to, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully you'll enjoy the ship build, and let me know what you guys think. Like, how have you guys kind of transitioned your frontier? Have you made it a triple wielding particle monster? Have you made it more sciencey? Yeah, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and catch you in the next one. Bye bye.